And welcome to the Husker Postgame Show. I'm Zach Reeder. Chris will be joining us shortly. We got a final score here. 35-28, Wisconsin defeats the Huskers. Another loss, 3-8 season. We saw a lot of things in this game I want to unpack. I'm sure Chris will have a lot of thoughts when he joins in. I kind of want to go to some of the comments. We'll talk through some of those. Then I'll give you my 2 cents to start off here. Look, the Nebraska defense wasn't that good. They did not tackle well at all. I knew that was going to be a problem heading into the game. You know, when you look at where Nebraska ranks in the Big Ten amongst missed tackles per game, they're roughly around 13 or 14, which is one of the highest in the conference. Missed tackles lose you games. It's why the Michigan State defense is not that good as well. Missed tackles, and it's those little ones too. You see Wisconsin in the backfield, looking for a negative 2 yard gain. It ends up being a 2 yard gain. That kind of stuff matters when you face a team that needs every yard they can get, like a Wisconsin. But look, Braylon Allen, let's just put it out. He's a beast. He is. He's going to be a really, really good running back for the Badgers. 7 straight games of 100 yards. The guy's an animal, but Nebraska gave him too much. The linebackers were struggling to fill holes. They let the Wisconsin front kind of push them around a little bit. There were some times where they got penetration, but it seems to be the case with the Nebraska defense this year. They've had struggles in putting together the whole 9 yards on defense. They just kind of they have one good play, and then it's like an okay play, and then it's a bad play. And those bad plays today ended up being big gains for Braylon Allen. He had 2 runs of over 50 yards for touchdowns. And look, when you miss tackles like Nebraska did today, Wisconsin's game plan is pretty simple with the power running game, and then they have those little short pass game. A lot of tight end delays with Jake Ferguson today, which they were able to take advantage of throughout the course of the game. But then it came down to even when they got those passes to Jake Ferguson, he's catching them at the line of scrimmage. Nebraska's got to get up there and tackle for 3 or 4 yards, and they were missing tackles that resulted in 10-yard gains. That just wears on you. And there was too much pressure on the offense. Look, I'm hitting on the defense right now. That was my 2 cents. I think that they did not play a good game. I'd probably rate it around a C minus, maybe a D plus. They did not do their job today. Too many points. Game obviously didn't start off well. Special teams didn't get a good grade because they allow a kick return for a touchdown. I don't know what was going on, why we can boot it through the end zone for most of the game. And then at the beginning, we boot it through. We kick it to the 8-yard line. It just kind of screws everything up. I don't understand what happened there. Bad start to the game. Glad to see Nebraska kind of step up, get back into the game with a good touchdown drive. But bottom line, the offense today, going to be tough to run against the Badgers. Very good run defense. One of the best in the country. Leo Chanel in the middle. This front line they have, they're very disciplined. They play sound football, play in their gaps. They stuff the A and B gap. It's tough to run up the middle against this team. Look, they did that again today. Nebraska's got a problem of running back. They're still trying to figure it out. We saw Step in there at the goal line, had one good run, but a lot of negative runs, 1-yard runs from Marquise Step. You saw a guy like Marvin Scott. He showed a few flashes today. A guy who was 5th or 6th on the depth chart, heading into week 1. And you kind of get him stepping up there as Chris is joining us now. Perfect timing. Chris, I was just kind of talking about the running back situation. I talked about how tough it is for Nebraska to run against the Wisconsin front line. It kind of seemed to be, what we expected. But the passing game I thought was pretty good besides a few big mistakes.
Yeah, can you hear me right now, Zach?
I can.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I was really surprised. With the running back situation today, I really didn't know what to expect. I thought it would be Step, but I don't know. I thought that Marvin Scott really emerged as that number one kind of go-to guy, and he got a really nice burst, and he catches the ball. But that was a little bit surprising. I thought the offensive line did a decent job giving Martinez time to throw the ball. Overall, I thought Martinez had a pretty good day. Besides that, that one really bad interception. Um, but yeah, I thought that they ran the ball. They ran the ball decently, except in those few times that they really needed to get those short yardage plays. They came up a little bit short.
Yeah, early in the game. And, just kind of looking at what I thought was, you talked about the Martinez one bad interception. Omar Manning had his guy beat, but there's obviously a safety over the top. That's the kind of coverage they're playing. It just wasn't open. But you look at what else Martinez did in that game. Yeah, he missed Oliver Martin, ended up being a pick. He was there. I thought he had a couple other guys open, but over the course of the game, he made a lot of good throws. He's playing through a shoulder injury. I don't think people understand that. He was banged up. A lot of his passes floated. He doesn't have the greatest arm strength to begin with. But I think that's a major reason why you saw him float a lot of passes today.
Yeah, I mean, overall, Martinez had a really good game. I thought he was pretty decisive, especially early, taking some. Can you hear me? Good.
Yeah, it's kind of spotty.
All right, I just turned the Wi-Fi off. I should be good out here now. But I think one guy we got to really bring up and mention, I don't know if you've talked about it yet, is Austin Allen. I thought he had maybe his best game, maybe of his career. I mean, he was just all over the place, making huge catches, just getting open, and he had such a great game, which was really nice for him. Really nice to see him stand out like he did today. But yeah, going back to Martinez and some of those throws, obviously the one pick was terrible. I mean, whatever, they probably would have had to punt anyway, but he missed that one to Betts in the back of the end zone might have been able to be a touchdown, and then that open one to Toure could have been another completion. But overall, I didn't think Martinez played terrible today.
Yeah, I think, with what he's battling through injury wise, how much is being asked of him, a lack of a run game, the tackles. I think the interior offensive line didn't play bad, in my opinion. I thought they dealt with some stunts and did okay. But those tackles, I thought, had a rough game. Turner had a couple holding calls. He was getting blown off the ball sometimes. I thought Ben Hart, he had a holding call as well, and he didn't play the best game. When you have tackles that just time and time again don't give Martinez time. I mean, Martinez has that internal clock, and I think that's one good thing about him. You don't see a ton of sacks unless he's trying to make a play, but you can't get this kind of blocking up front and expect him to do everything. With the lack of a run game already, if you're putting an offensive line play that's probably below average with him, I mean, then it's all on his shoulders, all on him and the receivers. And he made enough plays, but the defense just couldn't get enough stops.
Yeah, yeah, I think the tackles had a rough game. Just and some of those really those penalties that are so timely for them, that one there at the end, obviously it pushed them back, and I think it was like 1st and 21 or something like that. So I mean, after that we didn't gain a yard, and then the game was over. So just plays like that the offensive line has just been subpar all year with. And I mean, I think I talk about it every year that losing, or every week rather, that losing Teddy Prochaska was really rough for us over there. So um, I don't know. I At the end of the day, the offense, I mean, they did more today, honestly, than I came into the game thinking they were going to do. Uh, Against this Wisconsin defense that came in number one in the nation. I mean, they've won 5 games in a row, clicking. I mean, just destroying teams. And I thought the offense did some nice things, moved the ball well enough, but just man, down there in the red zone, it was rough. For what it's worth, I do like the decisions that maybe not the play calls here and there, but to go for it and not settle for field goals today. I was behind those decisions.
Yeah, and you know what? I kind of, looking back at the coaches that are fired, and you saw, a scramble for coaches today, a lot of personnel change on the offensive side. Lubick's been the main play caller this year. You've had Frost in there occasionally, but it's been Lubick. I thought it was better today with Frost. I thought Frost had a couple game plans. He obviously wanted to establish some sort of run. Very hard against Wisconsin. He tried to mixing up the backs, but he basically made a main goal of getting Toure and Allen involved. Two best players two best pass catchers on Nebraska's offense, probably the second and third best players on the team on the offensive side. And he got them involved big time. And he schemed things up for them. So I like what Frost did play calling today. I just think you're so limited with a lack of a run game and terrible tackle play on the outside. I mean, it's tough for him to really get a pocket most of the time Martinez is running around and he's already banged up too. I know he's got a leg injury and then he's got the shoulder injury he's dealing with. So, I mean, there's too much being put on his plate, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, those are great points. I mean, clearly the objective was to get the ball into Toure and Allen's hands. I think they did a great job of that. But at the end of the day, when those options get taken away, what else can you lean on? And if you don't have that stout offensive line, there's probably not a lot else that you can do at that point. And then there's the mistakes, there's the interceptions, and there's the penalties that come after it. So yeah, it was clear that was the objective, and it was really nice to see early on, and even towards the end, the fight. And again, another 1-score loss, but it sure would have been nice to see him, figure out a way to win it. But what did you think about the defense today? I mean, obviously we've seen Wisconsin running backs run like that every year, but what did you think about the defensive effort today?
Yeah, I mean, you knew it was going to be a good day for the pass defense in terms of yards. There's just nothing for Wisconsin down the field. They don't want to do that anyway. So I didn't think it was bad there. I thought a couple times they really let Ferguson, on those tight end delays right at the line of scrimmage where he blocks for a bit and then comes off. I thought they kind of let those open too much. They should have been up there filling that, especially with how much they run that. But overall, it's just bad tackling. I mean, I kind of hit on it before you got in here because I was talking about defense, and I said there's like one good play from the Husker defense, and then an okay play, and then a really bad play, like all in a 3-play span. And it kind of showed today. They'll stuff Allen for nothing, then Allen will push forward for 5, and then all of a sudden there's a 70-yard touchdown run because just of a lack of the linebackers filling the hole. Sometimes the D-line gets pushed up. Give credit to Wisconsin's O-line. Sometimes they do a hell of a job filling or making sure that there's a nice hole for them. But it's just bad tackling sometimes. I mean, you saw it basically on the big touchdown run early. Cam Taylor-Britt comes in high and hits a 240-pound back high with his shoulder. He's not going to fall over. I mean, he's a big dude. So Nebraska misses too many tackles. That's the problem, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, on that play, I mean, Cam basically, in my perspective, it looked like he almost just pushed him away from the pile and just sent him on his way. Then he was just gone. But I thought Damian Daniels had a really good game. I thought I don't know if he was injured or something possibly in the second half. Because I don't know, I didn't think I saw him as much in the second half, but I mean, he was in there blowing it up, high motor, finishing plays. Ty Robinson, Ben Stilley had decent games.
Yeah, the other one I saw too was it was Nash, the polar bear. I saw him in on a couple of 4th downs. He came in for Damian, like you said, he might have been injured. He was playing that nose tackle, and he did a hell of a job sometimes pushing that center off the ball.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I guess I did not notice him in there. I did notice obviously Blaze Gunnarsson was in a lot and in early, and he's a big kid. I don't know. I really liked how he played. So it's exciting to see him and Nelson playing next year. But I thought he had a good game. I thought that Miles Farmer really struggled again today. I think he's been struggling all year. Just missed tackles. That one blown coverage, the guy should have caught the ball, and he didn't. Lucky he didn't. But I thought he struggled today. And then just the one other thing is, I think it was pretty evident that JoJo Domann wasn't on the field today. I mean, he's done so much for us, and he's just having him out there is such a big impact. And I felt like we missed him today.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what this Nebraska defense has been this year. They got a bunch of run stuffers up the middle, so that's why you get those good plays for negative yards sometimes. But you look at two guys kind of in the back end who have been helping with the run defense a ton. It's not even their main role, but they have. It's JoJo Domann and Deontay Williams. The box safety and kind of that rover position, which is what Domann played, they both have helped a ton. And, we've seen Deontay Williams has been out for a bit now, but Miles Farmer, he shows his youth. I mean, he makes 1 or 2 good plays, but then there's several plays where it has you scratching your head and you're like, well, what the hell was that? Like, what's he doing?
Right. I don't know. I thought he's just really struggled again today, and just a couple of missed tackles. We had a bunch of missed tackles today, and I guess that's what happens when you have the O-line leaning on you and a big running back. I mean, running you over. But you got to capitalize on some of those plays where the initial contact is in the backfield. And I think we had probably 4 or 5 that should have been TFLs today that they've managed to lean forward on, gain 2 or 3 yards. And you got to find a way to make those tackle for losses and put them in a 3rd and long and create defense like that. But credit to Wisconsin for playing their brand of football. I don't think we had a sack today, and that was the one thing I just, if we could have had maybe 1 or 2 sacks, I think that could have really helped, springboard us to do a little bit more in the game. But we were getting decent pressure, but then just, 1 or 2 steps away from the quarterback again.
Yeah, I think I saw. So Garrett Nelson was one of the guys I noticed today. I know they hit on it on the broadcast how much he's improved. He really has, because I've seen him. He's getting off blocks much easier than he did. But he had 3 or 4 times today where he was the guy that had the initial contact in the backfield, and he couldn't wrap up and make the play, and then it was an 8-yard play. So I think just finishing the play for him, he's finally gotten to the point where he can get off the blocks and make those plays to make negative yards, but he just hasn't been able to finish the plays, and that's kind of seems the story of the season for Nebraska is finishing. But I really think I'm seeing some areas where they're improving, but if they don't clean up the missed tackles, you never can be a good defense if you miss so many tackles. You miss 14 tackles a game, you're in bad shape, especially against a big running back like that for Wisconsin.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I thought the defense overall played stout, but just those missed tackles and giving up those really big runs, and then Mertz making a couple of nice throws. But I mean they were right there, and I thought that they played decent overall. Just a few of those mistakes, and that's the difference in the game though. I mean, looking kind of overall at the general landscape of the game too, I just think about a couple things. And obviously that opening kickoff, right? So they had the opening kickoff, which like literally right before that, I'm like, just please anything but a kick return. And I literally manifested that for them. So I'm just kicking myself for that. But so that, and then we have the ball right at halftime. We're going to get the ball at halftime. So we get the ball at halftime and we throw an interception. I mean, so just those 2 things, and off that interception, then they score 14 points. So it's just, I don't know, those quick 14 points, and it just feels like, there's just stuff like that happens weekly.
Yeah, and it seemed like that game, whenever Nebraska could tie it up, they could never get the ball back with that tie game for a chance to get the lead. And when they did, coming out of half, you throw a pick, and you just never got that. Like, Nebraska goes and scores out of half, and it's 21-14, and all of a sudden they take the life out of that stadium. It's a different game. But you throw the pick, you give it back to them, they score, and then you're just in bad shape the whole game. So I totally agree. There's a couple questions I did want to ask you, though. One, there's been a lot of talk lately. I know Frost mentioned he's gonna talk to him over the course of the next 9 days. Adrian Martinez, if you're deciding right now, and obviously, not our decision, but do you want him back or not?
Oh man, it's just so tough because I like him a lot, and I think with a better line he could do more. But I think that this is probably this is a year this coming talking about next year. This is a year that Frost. It's obviously make it or break it, right? He's got to get whatever that magic number is that him and Trev discussed. I would assume it's 6 or 7 wins that they need to get. And does Frost really want to, just do it again with Martinez, or does he want to mix it up? Does he want to try something different? And in my mind, with the mix-ups with these coaches and everything, and I think he wants to switch it up. I think I would rather just switch it up just to try something different, just because this has been working to a degree, but the wins haven't been coming. So I would like for them to go hard after the transfer portal and get somebody, maybe even 2 guys in here that are going to compete and shake it up. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel really strongly about this, and I 100% think he should be back.
Yeah.
I think the dude has battled. I think he's been through a lot of injuries, and I think he has improved a lot. I mean, look at the passing from year to year, how much he's improved. Like, what is he next year? I mean, if he keeps improving on the passing and he's healthy, I don't know if there's a much better option out there. But I think that there's other areas around him you need to get better. First of all, the wide receiver group's got to get better overall. There's got to be more options than just one or two guys. I think the tight ends, you got Fadone. There's going to be plenty of talent there, but do we look in the portal for offensive linemen? Do you look for? You got to get some sort of tackle, because right now when you got two guys that are being graded on college football focus, in the bottom 15 of college football, like, you got to get better on the tackle position to help him out. But I 100% think he needs to be back. I don't know why I've seen it all over Twitter for like weeks now. There's just been a lot of slander towards him, and I don't get it. Like, yeah, he hasn't finished games and won them, but you can't tell me this dude hasn't basically been through hell for this program. And he's gotten a lot better, in my opinion. There's still the dumb mistakes out there that he makes, obviously, but it's hard to find very many quarterbacks that don't make dumb mistakes. It really is.
Yeah, and the numbers are there, right? He passed Tommy for the all-time. He's Nebraska's all-time leading quarterback today as far as total yardage goes. So he can move the ball, he can run the ball, he can he misses passes from time to time, but I wouldn't have a problem with him coming back. I wouldn't be mad about it, as I think a lot of people would be really pissed if he did come back, because for some reason they feel like this is all his fault, which I don't think it is. So I wouldn't be disappointed if he came back. I just would like to, I guess, just see them try something different. But there's no denying that he's a reason, or he's one of the main reasons that we're in these games, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
people say he's not clutch, and, people do this all the time. I see a couple comments about it. Look, yeah, he hasn't finished games, but, if you saw in those last three plays, let's say after the holding call, he had no time at all in any of those. He threw one away, and then the next pass was, it was a bad pass on his part, but the last pass was pretty good. He floated it a bit. I wonder how much the shoulder's bothering him. It was PI. We'll just throw it out there. It was PI, 100%. I really didn't see it until the replay, so I actually understand the rest didn't call it, but I watched that replay, and I'm like, how did nobody on the field see that?
Yeah, it was really bad. It was very blatant. It would have been, I think, a different story if the defender would have turned his head also as he was hitting the receiver. But he basically just ran right into Betts. Almost. Basically just tackled him without even looking for the ball. So, I don't know. It's a shame that it came down to that. But yeah, it's really rough to see Nebraska get kind of shafted with these calls game after game.
Yeah, the season has kind of been something where, yeah, they haven't been able to finish, but it's just been mistakes. You can pin a couple of them on Martinez, a couple of mistakes that he's made late in games. But over the course of the game, like you said, we're in those games because of him, not because of the running game, where we really haven't had one. There's been spurts at times, but in the receivers, it's been inconsistent as well. But Martinez has been the one guy that's been pretty consistent, keeping us in those games. It's been penalties, special teams. It's the missed tackles on, gains that are 2 yards and it ends up being a 70-yard run. So that's what I look at from this season. That's the reason that Nebraska's 3-8, in my opinion. I don't know why people are saying they're 3-8 because of Martinez. If you don't do these dumb things that they've done, Oklahoma, Ohio State, all these dumb games, Nebraska could easily be a 7-3, 8-2 football team with Martinez, and people would not be having this discussion. We'd be talking about, well, I hope he comes back. I hope he's the guy next year. But they're just chalking it up to, look at the record. It's all Martinez's fault. It's always, the head coach and quarterback get blamed for everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally think with a decent offensive line and decent special teams, we probably got 6 wins this year. We had no kicking game this year, no kickers, and just abysmal again on that front. And just the offensive line. Just they're graded out constantly, just at the bottom of the barrel in the nation. So, yeah. Do you think that the decision on Martinez to come back? Do you think that it's going to be kind of a combination of Frost and Martinez kind of sitting down talking about it, or do you think Frost will just say, "Hey, doors open. We'd love to have you back. It's totally up to you."
Yeah, I've been thinking about this for a while because, when you look at it, you think that knowing Frost and how much he loves Martinez, that he's going to open the door and
Hmm.
leave it up to him. But then you got to wonder, with the firing of all the coaches, Frost knowing that he's basically in his final year, it's a
Hmm.
prove it year. Does he just is he just is he taking it? He's like, you know what? I'm done with that. I'm moving on. I'm getting someone new. I'm ready to win. I don't know. Part of me thinks he might do that. Part of me thinks he's going to leave the door open. That's what I don't know, and that's what I'm curious is going to happen after the Iowa game because it's going to be one of two. And I mean, maybe Martinez, maybe he leaves it open and Martinez leaves on his own. I don't know. Anything could really happen, but I do want to know if Frost is going to be shopping in the portal for somebody because who knows what Smothers is and what he brings to the table. Obviously, uber athletic guy, but does he bring what Nebraska? Can he take Nebraska to the next step? I don't know. Most people say no, but you really don't know because he hasn't played.
I think regardless of whether Martinez comes back or not, that they should chop the portal and they should bring in somebody else that's taken uh, meaningful D1 snaps. Just somebody that they can also throw in the mix and give a shot at competing for quarterback. And I think the main argument on that is a lot of people that say, well, why would you come and want to sit? But I think that there's a lot of room right now at Nebraska for competition at the quarterback spot, and hopefully moving forward, if some guy, if a quarterback in that room is truly the best guy and he's not named Adrian Martinez, hopefully he's playing. And if it is Adrian Martinez, if he stays, then great. But I would just really like there to be just some more options, more, I guess, competition there than just what it's been at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I just keep looking at the pieces around him. I see a comment right here. It says if Jalen Hurts can start, Adrian can. That's so true because they both have flaws in the passing game. You see, Jalen Hurts is an NFL starting quarterback, and he's got plenty of problems throwing. But what it comes down to is he makes plays in the running game. People don't think of him as much of a passer, so he can make enough plays in the passing game. That's what I think of Martinez as. But I think the pieces around him are just not there. I mean, when you don't, there's only a handful of guys I think on this offense that could play at the next level. Obviously, Austin Allen. This tight end group's really good. That's why they kept the tight end coach on board. They've improved a lot, but no running game. O line play hasn't been good. Like
Yeah.
Samari Toure's been outstanding. He has been. He's been what people expected him when he came over from Montana. He's fantastic. But what about guys like Omar Manning, Xavier Betts, Alante Brown? Have they gotten any better? Like,
Yeah, I think the running back room too has just been such a mystery for me this year. Going from Step being the starting running back to us just not seeing him ever, to Ramir Johnson, which was number 4 on the depth chart, to now he's number 1. To obviously Gabe Irvin was hurt in there, but just I don't know what the hell's going on in the running back room, to be honest with you. And I think uh, you don't think about the running back being affecting the quarterback that much, but I mean, if you have a really solid running back, that also really helps out the quarterback because it takes a lot of attention off the quarterback, right? And a lot of the times, our best runner in the backfield is Martinez, so he's having to make plays not only with his arm but with his feet. I mean, maybe on 70% of the plays. So it would be really nice if they could figure out uh, a really solid running back, which I thought they were going to see this year, is just maybe one or two guys that they really ride and they go with. And I think that could also help out the offense in general.
yeah, and we'll see. For me, I mean, I hope that Nebraska can develop the offensive line better. Maybe look in the portal, but maybe look in the portal for a wide receiver, running back, try to help around Martinez, build those pieces around him because you look at the best teams in the country. What do they have? They have a dynamic running back. Alabama's got Brian Robinson. He's a fantastic back. Travion Henderson at Ohio State. It seems like half the time they almost play him as a decoy sometimes because they can throw so well and they know they can. But like Travion Henderson, you see plenty of games where he has 11 carries for 110 yards. Like it's just that open for him because of the passing game. But you can also open it the other way, and that's one thing with what comes with a good running back. But you need someone. Gabe Ervin may have been that guy this year. We don't know because he got hurt. But that's why you got to have more depth around there, and that's why I think you saw Ryan Held fired, because there's been nothing. There's been no improvement in that room at all.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I just the running back spot has been kind of a mystery to me, and I think that they could definitely go after another wide receiver in the transfer portal. There's going to be a ton of them. I mean, and as Frost kind of brought up in his press conference this week, he believes that the recruiting process is going to be transformed forever. It's no longer going to be, you're taking these 25 guys from high school, and it's all going to be based on that and how you can develop them and how their quality of play. It's going to be, you know, who you can go out and find and who you can convince to come from a different school. It's just going to be a lot different. There's uh, so there's going to be a lot of good transfers out there. I would love to see them go after a good offensive lineman or two and a wide receiver. I would really like to see them go after Josh Moore from Texas. He's transferring. I saw he's in the portal. Um, he's been great for Texas, so it was kind of surprising to see him go out of there. But did Texas lose again today? By the way, they lost West Virginia, I think.
Yeah.
So they're 4, and I think Texas is 4-7. So I mean, I mean, I know Nebraska has 3 wins, but there's just over the landscape of college football, if you look at just a lot of these teams, they're struggling, man. So I don't know. I'm kind of off topic, but I don't think you and I got to talk about it since they announced that Frost is coming back. But I'm personally glad that they're giving another try. We've come this far is kind of my idea at this point. We've come this far, and if they wouldn't have given one more, I feel like I personally would have been just kind of left wondering, man, what would have one more year looked like? So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm really glad they did. I know a lot of people have been displeased with what he's done at Nebraska. Obviously, 5-19 one-score games. I mean, that's unacceptable. No matter where you're at, it just is. You can't finish games. Not 100% on the head coach in the game. With all the dumb penalties and dumb mistakes. But you got to coach him up better. Obviously, he's taken that on his shoulder. I think that he's going to bring in the best assistants possible. He's going to go out there and get the dudes that he really, really wants now. So we'll see where it goes. I think I'm glad they got him back, and I'd like to see Martinez back too, because I really think if you get the pieces around him, it's going to be good. And like you said, that portal's going to be ridiculous. There's going to be starting running backs out there that ran for 900 yards. They're just going to be out there. They're looking, especially those guys, and you can bring in guys from non-power fives that are looking to get up into power fives. And then you can go get a guy that was at a power five that was just mad because he wasn't playing. There's plenty out there in the portal, wide receiver and running back. So I don't think that's a problem, and I think that's what you have to attack the most, in my opinion. Yeah, you could give the quarterback a look, but it all depends on what happens with the Martinez decision. It's going to be huge. I don't know where Martinez's head's at. I know he loves Nebraska, but plenty of people have loved the place they played at, and they transferred just to get out of that system and just to get away from it. He's been gifted by Frost to be here and be a starter for 3 years, but you never know if that means, maybe he wants to get one last year in a new place, fresh start. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know personally it would be really hard to see him play in a different school. I mean, that'd be really hard to see him wearing anything but Nebraska. It would just be rough. He's 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 meant a lot to the program. I think he's a tremendous leader. He's a great spokesman for the school. He genuinely loves the school and wants to win. So it's just so hard seeing him sometimes struggle. So again, I wouldn't have a problem with him coming back. I really am curious as to where Smothers' mind would be with that if he did come back. So, I mean, obviously, if Martinez comes back and Smothers then announces he's transferring, well, then you have to go get another one for sure. So I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting, and I, I don't know with the quarterback situation, they just need to figure it out, and hopefully they're able to, I don't know, Frost and Martinez come to something that they both mutually believe in and agree on, I guess. I can't hear you now.
All right, we're back. Yeah, you can hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just, I think Martinez has given everything he's got, and I really think that he's the guy to lead the program. But, I think when it's all on his shoulders, it's pretty hard. I mean, I look at a team, like, I'm just going to throw this out for an example to compare it. I watched Liberty a couple times with Malik Willis over there, NFL prospect, all this. They're a 7-4 team in a bad conference. They have more talent than a lot of teams out there, but they're 7-4, whatever they are. They got one of those records. They lost again today. They got killed, but it's solely on him. And when he doesn't play good, they lose. And when he plays okay, they barely win. And it kind of reminds me of the situation at Nebraska with Martinez. Like I think there's so much on his plate that it's hard to sit here and be like, well, he's the problem. I mean, is he really the problem? Because there's plenty of other issues I see. There's bad tackling, there's bad special teams, there's dumb mistakes, there's penalties, there's a lack of a running game. There is sometimes, just the play calling is not that good, offensive line troubles. I think there's plenty of other issues with Nebraska other than the quarterback position, and I still don't understand why it's solely on Martinez and why that's all I see on Twitter is how he hasn't been good. Yeah, he doesn't have a good record, but I don't think he's all the blame for that.
No, I don't know. I feel like you should be able to. A good team is able to make a mistake here and there and have and recover from it and still win a game. I just feel like so many times if Martinez makes a mistake, that's the only thing that's seen at the end of the day. We don't talk about these, you know, uh, terrible flags or terrible special team blunders that occur. It's just Martinez threw a really bad pass or he missed a wide open receiver. It's just I feel like so many times too that it's just towards the end of the game. These are really close games, so those mistakes that Martinez makes here and there, they're just really obvious, right? So it's just an easy you know it's an easy thing to blame at the end of the day. But I don't think that he's the main reason. It's not the only reason that we obviously lose games. There's so many chances for us to win, and they just haven't found the way to do it yet.
Yeah, I see a comment right here that says stupid mistakes are the result of bad coaching. Yes and no. I think obviously, stupid mistakes got to be coached up better. But when you look at some of the stupid mistakes Nebraska's had to lose games this year, like I'm just looking at today for an example. Nebraska has a 30-yard run down to the 10 or whatever it was, 20-yard run by Marvin Scott. There's a holding on Turner Corcoran, and I watched the replay and I see the guy dove in, literally gave Marvin Scott the lane, and he still holds. Like he gave him the opportunity to all he had to do is just stand in the way of him, and he still holds. Like I don't even know if you can like teach those kinds of things because you can try to, but like in the heat of the moment, you've seen so many Nebraska games this year where in the heat of the moment you're like, how the hell and why the hell did that guy just make that play? I'm sure they're going over it, but I don't know what to say about some of these mistakes. That's why I sit here and say, playing different guys, going out in the portal and getting guys. Because at some point, you just need people to step up and make plays. And no matter how much you coach them, those guys are playing on the field. And they're the ones that can't finish the game. So, I don't want to sit here and pin it all on the players because I know some of it's got to be on coaching as well. But just the dumb mistakes. I mean, I watch so much college football and I see more dumb mistakes with Nebraska than anyone else. And it's just little things like that, like those holding calls where I'm like, you didn't even have to do that. Like the
Right.
ball's released. Like, why'd you hold? It doesn't even make any sense.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I think the national media sees it also. It's not just us. We've been noticed by the national media as the best bad team. I mean, they watch, everyone watches us week after week play these these top ranked teams that are going to go to the college football playoff to New Year's Six bowls and almost beat them. And the only reason we lose is because we make these terrible mistakes, and it's noticed now, and it's just extremely frustrating that you kind of just know it's coming at this point. But man, if they can figure out a way to maybe bring in a couple of dudes and eliminate those mistakes, they would be a lot more fun to watch every Saturday. I can tell you
Yeah,
that.
I mean, losing sucks, obviously, but you just look at what Ohio State did to Michigan State today, and you think about
Jeez,
where
man.
Nebraska was years ago, losing big time games by 50, just like Michigan State did today. And you watch Nebraska, and they played Ohio State last week, and they're right there at the end, and they lose the game. And I'm sick of saying they're right there. I'm as sick as anyone because it's getting annoying losing, but they are that close. Like you said, the national media, Joel Klatt had that little 5-minute spurt about them talking about how close they are. That's an intelligent football mind. Kirk Herbstreit's even talked about it on game day, how close they are. But it's just an inability to finish the games. That's the frustrating part. But I'm telling you, I think they're a couple players away. And I think, obviously, get some new coaches in here. I think that's really going to help get some new players. I really think next year's going to be a lot different. I'm just curious to see where, you know, who's the quarterback, how it shakes up that way. I think there's a lot, in store for the next couple of weeks. I think it's going to be a big couple of weeks for Nebraska to see what's going on and what decisions are made.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. And I'm gonna have to wrap it up because my phone's about to die here. But yeah, just a couple closing points. I mean, to your point there, like these next couple 2-3 weeks are going to be massive, right? I mean, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be exciting. I really hope they bring in a really great offensive coordinator that runs the show. Frost has said he wants to be more of that CEO guy, and maybe Frost kind of stepping back and being able to go and make his rounds a little bit more can help some things out overall for the whole team. So I'm really excited to see who they bring in. Um, we still have Iowa coming up on Friday. I think Nebraska could beat Iowa. They absolutely could beat Iowa. Why not? I mean, we're not going to a bowl game, so just leave it all out there. Um, for me, honestly, beating Iowa and going into the offseason beating Iowa would feel almost as good as, if not as good as, going to some, Cheez-It Bowl right now. So I think they could beat Iowa. Um, and and then from there, just you know, hold on to the hope that Frost can you know do more next year, and he obviously he wants to, right? He's put his money where his mouth is, and he knows it's go time. So I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go
I
out.
agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm 100% on board. I think that Iowa game will give you a lot of momentum heading into the offseason. We'll see how it goes. Close. Yeah, I see the comment. Close but no cigar today. Again, Huskers lose by 7 to Wisconsin in a tight one. Good talking to you, Chris.
You too, Zach. Have a good night, dude.